Okay, let's continue detailing the shoes, and along the way we will discuss a lot of cool techniques and workflows. Let's isolate these two parts, Shift H, and create a cylinder. Press V for changing the direction. Click once, twice, OK. Click on Control, aligning it to this part. Show the edges so we can see where these cuts are. Okay, let's make this one thinner. S, Shift Z. So let's try how it looks if we merge these parts. So this upper part and the cylinder we have just created. So select both, press Q, Q for making a union boolean. Turn off the X-ray, select the edge loop and press BD. Maybe the fillet is a little bit too big, so I go back again. Keep it at 0.05 or even 0.04. Yeah, something like this, that's okay. Tighten the edges. Yeah, that looks okay. I mean, of course, it's up to your taste. You can also make it a big fat fillet, so this whole thing will look more organic if you do so. But I want to keep it rather robotic. Next, let's give him some shoelaces. Create a line, a simple line, Shift A. GX control, so it's also aligned to this shoe. SS for scale. You can keep it short, maybe something like this, and array it. Look for rectangular array, or here, rectangular array. Here's also the icon for that one. Keep it at 3. So 3 rows of shoelaces is enough. If you want to adjust the distance of these 3 lines, you can scale them along the y-axis. I want that this distance is a little bit bigger than this one, because here I will make also a pipe later on. Now let's take this part, this solid, this upper part, Shift I, select these 3 lines and press OK, so we project them onto the solid. Duplicate these imprint curves, give them a big fat pipe, something like this. Big fat breaker shoelaces. I didn't know whether I told it before, but if you press Shift while making these type of adjustments, you can make them in smaller steps. So you can fine-tune your adjustment. Now in face mode, let's delete these faces and do the same thing we did with the mouth, if you remember. Delete these, Shift X, and give these faces round caps by pressing Shift J, Tab, and G1. Let's look for G2. G2 makes it rather squarish, so we want to go with G1 and do this for all these edges. So let's see how it looks without the edges. Yeah, it looks cool. Let's give these 2 edges also a nice fillet. 0.01 will do the job. Now I want to give this one a label. So therefore let's create a star. So let's take this regular polygon, drag out this shape, and while you are dragging out and this command is active, you can play with the number of vertices. So here Shift wheel up and Shift wheel down, you can add a vertex or subtract a vertex. We want this to be a 5-pointed star, so therefore I want to have 10 vertices. At this point I have 5 vertices, and there are different ways of adjusting the number of vertices. So if you don't do anything else and just press Tab, you have access to the size, and if you press again, you have access to the number of vertices. So you can make it this way, type in 10, create a polygon with 10 edges, or press Escape, use the mouse for adding and subtracting vertices. Since I don't have a mouse, I'm working on a Wacom. I can press the arrow up and down for adding or subtracting vertices. So I press 5 times. And press OK while aligning to the Z-axis. Let's create a line with Shift A, a horizontal one, and you will see in a minute why. Center it to the polygon. And now in control point, select every other control point of the polygon, SS. And again, if you press Shift, you can make finer adjustments. And I wanted this horizontal line for aligning my star according to it. Press OK. We can delete this one, this star. And now I want to have a circle around this star. So therefore we can use a 3-point circle, which lives here under the center circle menu. Click at 1 point. Click here, second point, and if we click here at the third point here, since this is a 3-point circle, we can create a perfect circle around the star. That's what we wanted. Let's make it a slightly rounded star because we don't want to have sharp edges and corners on our model. So in control point mode, B, D, that's okay. And we want this slight gap because we will pipe these shapes so they shouldn't intersect. Now in object mode, select these two or these three, so this solid and these two curves. Shift H, align the curves to this cylinder, make your adjustments. In original chucks, the stars are on the inside, but I will do it here on the outside. I want the star to be visible. So now we are ready to imprint, so select the solid, Shift I, and select these curves. Activate these edges so we can see what we are doing. And before pressing OK, let's see if that looks okay. Now we can bring them to the construction folder. And let's extract these guys. Pressing Shift D. Now we have our independent curves, which we can then use for piping. That's too thick for my taste. Let's try something like 0.005. Yeah, that looks cool. This one, let's isolate the star, pressing Shift H and extrude it. And you see the handle is not at the direction which we want it to be. So therefore press Freestyle F, click on snapping point. It extrudes along the normal. Press OK. We can delete this curve and in edge mode, select the whole edge loop with Alt. Press Shift J for patching this guy. G0 is okay for now. And do the same on this side. So we have a solid. Bring back the rest. In face mode, push this face. Something like this. Maybe make it a little bit fatter. And in solid mode, push the whole solid in along the x-axis. Okay. And in face mode, select this face. Press Ctrl 2 for switching to the edge mode for having access to the edges of the star. And now we can fillet it. B, D, and make a tiny fillet. If you type in a large number, plasticity won't fill it. So therefore, let's type in something with 00 after the comma. So 0.002 maybe, 0.001, 0.0015. 0.0015 is okay. Push it further in. Next, let's detail this bottom part. So first of all, let's isolate these two. Shift H. And by the way, we can delete redundant topology. F. Delete redundant topology. Since we are done with these imprint curves. In face mode, select this face. Run the isoparam command with Ctrl R. And let me show you something about the isoparam command. If you run the isoparam command in solid mode without selecting a face, that works, but you can't snap the isoparam you are about to create to anything. Doesn't make a difference whether you have selected this bottom part or something else. Move your cursor, the isoparam curve will jump on other objects, so that's not what we want. So I press Escape. I go to face mode and select the face I want to have an isoparam curve applied to and run the isoparam command now. The isoparam curve doesn't jump to any other objects. And you can now use snapping points for snapping this isoparam curve you are about to create to a specific place. So in this case, the exact center. So that's important. If you want to create an isoparam curve, make it in face mode. Okay, let's extract this isoparam curve. Pressing Shift D, so we have an independent curve. Let's make this one slightly smaller as Z. We will use this one for detailing. That's okay, I think. In solid mode, select this bottom part, run the delete redundant topology command. I didn't know whether I told it. You can apply shortcuts to all these commands. I haven't applied to the most because I want to show you the original places. So that's why I every time write it here down for showing you the name of the command, the complete name. But if you press here on this 3 button by right clicking, you can assign a shortcut. Yeah, we wanted to delete the redundant topology. Now again, in face mode, make another isoparam curve, pressing Ctrl R and tap for changing the direction here, UV direction. We will use this newly created isoparam curve for our curve array, duplicate it, pressing Shift-D, OK, and we want to array this line along this line, but first let's make a pipe out of it, so we can array a pipe, P, the thickness is OK, and let's give this guy round caps, you know the technique for that one. If you press Shift-J right away, plasticity doesn't give you the opportunity to play with the continuity, so that's not what we want. So select this one, Shift-J, first patch this end, of course with G1. Do the same for the bottom part. Okay, now we are ready to curve array this pipe. So in solid mode, select this pipe, look for array, curve array. So the solid is already selected. Now select the path, which is this one. Let's give this one a larger number. Let's try something like 30. The gaps are still too big. 60, 60 looks better. Maybe 70. 70 is okay, I guess. Press OK. Now let's look from the right view, and I want to delete this front part, all these solids here. For being able to select only the ones you want to delete, drag from left to right. So you have a green rectangle. I guess I showed this one to you. Because if you do it from right to left with the purple rectangle, just touching one part is enough to select it. So you will select also parts which you don't want to select. So that's why you should drag from left to right. So you select only the parts you want to delete. Maybe this one also. I think that's okay. Let's delete. And now I want to merge them, all these little parts and this, because they are one object. But before doing so, let me first delete the redundant topology. And again, from right view. Now we can select from right to left, doesn't matter, and press Q twice for making a union boolean, because I want these pipes to stick out. And obviously I want to fillet them, 005. I want to avoid such overlappings if possible. That's what I want to go with 0.004 for leaving a gap between these two edges. Let's see how it looks, and if that's okay, I will apply it for all the other ones. Yeah, here you can see the power of filleting. I mean, look how it catches the light here versus this one. From all perspectives, object looks better, looks more natural. Okay, let's bring back the edges and make the same for all the other pipes we have just arrayed. And here you can select multiple edges and fillet them at once, BD 0.004, and I will time lapse the rest.